It's a great pleasure at this moment to be able to talk to John Matthias. I think we know each other for over 20 years in the meantime. Yeah. We are both old timers. He on ET, I am on PV. I'm both way over 20 years. You know, we are trying to make something special for this Awareness Day. Mm-hmm. And that can only be done if you can give us a few words. And you know, we had already with some physicians, with Ruben Mesa, Serge Bastovsek, etc. So we had some patients, and obviously you cannot be outside of this club. You have to be with his people. Okay. So the question which I have to you is, which message would you like to send to patients living with MPNs on the MPN Awareness Day?
Okay, well, thank you, Peter. If you haven't kind of met me or seen me before, my name is John Matthias. I'm an ET patient. I was diagnosed over 20 years ago, and that itself is a message, I think, especially for recently diagnosed MPN patients. Awareness and understanding of these diseases is still very uneven around the world. And it's still true that some patients who are diagnosed with these conditions can be given very poor prognoses by their doctors because unfortunately it's not a well understood condition. But the fact that I've been living with an MPN for well over 20 years, as I say, is a message in itself. I have two real things that I thought was important to try and get over to patients. And the first one is that you are not alone, okay? There is such a thing as an MPN community nowadays. This was probably not true when Peter and I were diagnosed a long time ago, but it is definitely true now. In many, many countries around the world, MPN patients have managed to come together to share their stories with each other, to support each other, and to create a really thriving network of patients, really. This has been incredibly useful and powerful for patients everywhere. Now, if you don't think that such a patient community exists where you live, I would encourage you to contact myself or Peter, and we will try and connect you to other patients near where you live. And also talk to your doctor about that. Your doctor may well be able to connect you to other patients, and that could be the beginning of a community in the places where you live. So that's the first thing I would say. And my second message is really one of hope. There has never been in the history of these conditions more research taking place all around the world, genuinely all around the world, into these conditions, and there are more and more therapies emerging from that research, which will one day, we're confident, aren't we, Peter, that they will provide a cure for the diseases, or at least a way that they are manageable on a long-term basis for patients wherever and whenever you are diagnosed. And I genuinely mean that. I think it's again, this is not something that was true when I was diagnosed. There were very few treatments available, but a number of discoveries have been made about the conditions during that time, and it's a very thriving area of research for many pharmaceutical companies around the world. So hope is a genuine thing for MPN patients now. Those are the two main things I wanted to get over on MPN Awareness Day. And I hope this message gets out to as many patients as possible.
We will make sure that this will happen, John. Yeah,
sure.
I mean, it's definitely. I mean, I think we are in the, well, it's a difficult word, but in a fortunate situation that we can look back on a long way. Exactly. I mean, you know, when we got diagnosed, even the mutation was not yet known.
Exactly.
I was
Yeah.
diagnosed in 1995, and I think it was came out only in 2005 or something like
That's
that.
right. Yeah.
And medicines, etc. I mean, I think the hydroxyurea maybe existed already. I don't know.
That's about it. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's really all what we have. And like today we are, they call it, we are in the combo time. Because all research, or big part of researchers, are going for the combinations, which are
Right.
Ruxo plus another product, etc. And
Mhm.
I think, as you said, this hope is today, becoming nearly a fact already. It's we have a new interferon. The latest test results are showing that you get to a sort of chronification of a product. I mean, it's not yet proven. These are the first results only, but I think it's in the right direction, and people really can be, very, very positive, and coming back to you. I mean, sorry, I didn't give you a full name at the beginning, but in a video it will be.
It's fine. It's fine.
But you are, I always say, the gray eminence in the MPN world. You're doing so many things, but you're never on the front line. But you do a lot of things on the backside. I mean, MPN Voice, which is an important tool in UK.
Yeah.
I think patients, can be very, very grateful, and can be very happy to have an MPN Voice where really everything is there. And as you said, the patients do have today a lot of sources to get information.
I quite agree. If I could say one other thing, I think you're right to say that many of us consider ourselves to be quite lucky. I know that seems, for patients who've been recently diagnosed with a disease that has no cure and had very significant effects on your life, it may seem funny for a patient to say that they're lucky. But one of the main reasons I think I'm fortunate is that I was lucky to be placed under the care of some amazing doctors. My own doctor is Professor Harrison at Guy's in London. I think there's one thing that I've found out about doctors in this field is that they tend to be very, very engaged with patients themselves, not only with their individual patients, obviously, but with the patient community. I know that you an interview with Ruben Mesa on your channel, and he's an amazing man, not only in terms of his in terms of his sort of professional expertise, but he really understands the power of the community, and he has given so much to help create that community. And my own doctor, Claire Harrison, is exactly the same in that respect. And I think there's something about doctors who work in this field who understand that really, really well. And that's one of the main reasons I think we're quite fortunate.
No question, you're absolutely right. So as a last question, it says here, what do we need to drive greater awareness of MPN? In other words, what can we do better from our positions, where we have PAGs, etc. What could we do better in order that the awareness of MPN could improve?
It's a really good question, and it's one that I've been thinking about for many years, obviously. Personally, I still think about the patients who are diagnosed in smaller hospitals by doctors who have to treat many, many conditions, and their own understanding of MPNs needs to be further developed. It's still true that patients come to us who have been told with the exact same condition as myself, and who are told by their doctors is, you have a life-threatening condition, and you should prepare for the worst. And really, that's a very, very bleak message, and it doesn't need to be like that. And I think one thing that we, as a community, haven't really talked that much about over the years. Apologies for my phone. I should have switched it off. One of the things that we haven't spoken about too much over the years is how we can improve awareness in the medical community. I mean, awareness of the condition in the wider community is good, and we should do what we can. But really, most people who need to know about this find out from doctors. And the doctors themselves don't always know what the right way to describe the situation is to these patients. And I think there's one thing that I would consider for our next priority might be to think about how to spread better understanding and better up-to-date knowledge about the conditions with the medical community, with hematologists. That'd be one idea I think we can probably work on together.
Yeah, definitely we will. I can only agree with you, and it's also on the top of our list. So we will talk about it. Yeah. Okay, John. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure, Peter. It's always good to chat to you. And it's nice to see you looking so well.
Yeah, same to you. I hope very soon we can meet each other.
Yeah, that would be lovely, wouldn't it?
And we can have a good beer again together.
I would love that. I would.
The good old times. We have a lot of things to talk about. So listen, you have a sunshine today, so I think you should go outside.
I should go outside, shouldn't I? Yeah.
Use some nice weather. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Have a good start in school again, and it was very much appreciated that you agreed to join me today.
Not at all. It's a pleasure, Peter.
Thank you very much.